Welcome back to another Seattle Seahawks review. The Seattle Seahawks defeat the Cleveland Browns 30-13 in what was a game that was just dominated by the Seahawks all around. But there are some things that I would like to analyze, and that is the first thing I'm going to start out with is the defense. The defense kind of scares me at times. It seems like they stiffen at the end of the drives, but at the start of them, it seems like we're just all broken around, giving up big plays. The first drive of the game, the Cleveland Browns ended up scoring with Johnny Manziel throwing a touchdown pass, and it just seemed kind of weird. And it was super weird to see that because it's a Cleveland Browns team that is 3-10, now 3-11, and it just wasn't something I was expecting to see because the Seattle Seahawks defense just seems to be kind of mixed around. Sometimes they play really, really good, and other times it just seems like it's weird. It's a weird kind of situation that I kind of think about. But the Seattle Seahawks defense, I mean, they played decent. You know, they didn't give up a lot of yards. They didn't give up a lot of big plays. There'd just be some plays that would be different. You wouldn't see that. It's not a usual thing to see from the Seattle Seahawks defense. Considering the team that we are playing, I think I put it at a higher level that we should have been playing at, considering the team we were facing. So let's get into some stats here today. Seattle Seahawks, Russell Wilson on fire once again with 249 passing yards, 3 touchdown passes, and 70% completion percentage with a 128.3 passer rating. Another great game from Russell Wilson. He's been on fire, and he definitely has a case for MVP. His season didn't start out so well. Had 10 touchdowns for 7 interceptions. Wasn't the greatest, but in these last 5 games, he has 20 touchdown passes with no interceptions. He should definitely be a candidate for that MVP discussion. We move into the other player on the field, the Cleveland Browns side passing. Johnny Manziel, 19 of 32, 161 yards, 1 touchdown and 1 interception for a 69.9 passer rating. He didn't have the greatest of games. He had some good plays. He had some open lanes that he could have had. I think if the players didn't drop the passes as well. Overall, his team didn't play great. He didn't do a bad job whatsoever. The 1 interception that was thrown at the end of the game, really not going to fault him for that. He's just trying to make a play in what the game is already over anyways. So when we move into rushing now, Christine Michael, what a comeback for him. 16 rushes, 84 yards, 5.3 average. Good game for him today. I'm really proud of the guy. He came back and played a tremendous game, and what was a great effort from him. He's really trying to fight for a spot, and he did a good job today. Russell Wilson, 46 yards, 5 rush attempts. Another good day for him on the running game. The Seahawks did a lot of misdirection here today, and it seemed to work out pretty well against Cleveland Browns defense. They didn't know what was coming. They played well on a couple of them, but most of them were great for the Seahawks, including one of the touchdowns from Doug Baldwin. Moving to another player, Bryce Brown. He had 9 rushes for 43 yards, had a pretty productive day as well. Moved to the Browns side of the field, 4 rushes for 46 yards for Johnson. Crowell had 9 rushes for 23 yards, not the greatest of games for him. Manziel had 2 rushes for 17 yards, and which could have been about 3 more rushes for him if he would have just ran it. That's kind of his identity. He had several times where he could have ran the ball, but he chose not to, chose to throw it, which would either turn into a dropped pass or just an incomplete pass. So if he wants, tips or pointers, I guess, from a guy that's never played football, or at least not played it at a professional stage, I think mainly he just has to stay true to his identity, and that means running out of the pocket, giving himself time, and if he doesn't see anything, just run, because he had several times where he could have had huge gains. We're looking at receiving here. Jermaine Kearse, 7 receptions for 110 yards with a phenomenal catch, went up in the air and grabbed it. He had a good productive day. Didn't have a touchdown pass, but overall he had a great day so far, or great day overall. Looking at Tyler Lockett, 5 receptions, 55 yards for 1 touchdown reception. And then Doug Baldwin, one of the hottest men right now in the NFL when it comes to stats. 4 receptions for 45 yards, 2 touchdown passes. One of those being a misdirection pass, which was pretty good by the Seahawks. Overall, the Seattle Seahawks offense has been very productive as of late, and I'm definitely more confident in the offense than I am in the defense. But both sides of the field are playing great. No matter how the defense plays, they're still playing great. There's times where I'm kind of worried, but I think overall I have enough confidence in them that I think they can get the job done. Going on to the stats now with the Cleveland Browns. I mean, looking at the stats, you can see that the stats speak for themselves. The Seahawks shut down the Cleveland Browns 100%. 5 receptions, 39 yards for Johnson. Barnage got 3 receptions for 29 yards and 1 touchdown reception. Benjamin had 3 receptions for 26 yards, and that was all but it for the receiving and the stats there for the Seattle Seahawks and Cleveland Browns game. Moving on to the final stats of the game. Cleveland Browns had only 230 total yards, 94 rush, 136 passing. Seahawks had 423 with 182 rush, and 241 passing. So going on to the analysis, the Seattle Seahawks played a great game. They played great in every single category. Rushing was good, passing game was good. It was good Seattle Seahawks football. All around, it was a great game. If I had to give them a grade, it's an A+. They played a great game today, and they deserved a win, and I'm excited for the next week against the Rams. The Rams is going to be a tough team to beat. Case Keenum had a tremendous game his last time out. He was 14 of 17, I think 274 yards and 2 touchdown passes. He played a great game against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And it's definitely going to be tough to beat the Rams. They beat us earlier in the year, so it's going to be a tough one to win, but I think the Seahawks can be able to pull it out. They clinched a playoff spot, and now they are in that 5th seed of the wild card. Best case scenario is the Minnesota Vikings don't win their division so they can keep on to that 5th wild card spot. So that's my analysis from the Seattle Seahawks game today. Hope you guys did enjoy this video. I want to know your thoughts and opinions on the Seattle Seahawks. It seems like the Seahawks are getting better without their star players. The weirdest of things. But I think it really takes off the stress of Russell Wilson having to force the ball to players that aren't open. You know, sometimes when you look at superstars, they want the ball in their hands every single play of the game. And Jimmy Graham, I don't think he's one of those guys. But I think with him being out, it's laid off the stress of Russell Wilson having to force it into double coverage, triple coverage, or whatever it may be. And it's definitely opened up for the Seattle Seahawks offense. I think Darrell Bevell has had some better play calling as well, not just making plays for just one specific player. It's more or less there's several routes to throw to, in which will be open. Overall, the Seahawks on offense have been great. The offensive line, the protection was good. Today it was good, but there were certain times where Wilson was running for his life, but I don't believe they had any sacks given up. Actually, I think they had 1 sack given up, but other than that, it was a great game for the Seattle Seahawks, and they are going to ride this one to the Super Bowl. I really do think they will win the Super Bowl this year, the way they're playing. There's just no stopping them. I understand the Panthers are on another level as well, but the Seahawks are coming for them, and they barely lost to them earlier in the season, in which was the point in time where the Seahawks just could not finish out games, and right now they are, and they're the hottest team in the NFL, and if you deny that, I mean, I can understand why you deny it. The Panthers are undefeated. They have all the right to consider themselves the hottest team in the NFL. But if there's a close second or a tie, it's the Seahawks. Both of those teams will be playing each other for the NFC Championship game or the NFC Divisional game, depending on how their rankings will work or depending on who wins the wild card matchups. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, please leave me a like, a comment, pause, subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and I'll see you in the next one.